Podcast for episode number 113 of your weekly Stadia show, where we round up all of the gaming news and topics for your listening or viewing pleasure, either right here on youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games or up there in the digital cloud on your podcast preference of choice. We've got a great show for you this week, and I'm joined by one half of the Bagel Boys, the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
If you don't know what he's talking about by the Bagel Boys, go back and watch our birthday stream from Friday evening.
Well, if people watch on Twitter, they'll know all about bagels. It's a thing I'm trying to make happen. We'll see if it lands. Richie, you're joining me this week for a fantastic show, of course. As we do every week, we round up all of the news for your enjoyment, excitement, listening and viewing, however you consume our content. And we've got a great show. We're going to be talking about brand new games coming to the platform, relishing in the Stadia birthday celebrations for their second anniversary. The games industry, the cloud games industry in particular, is about to explode. New DLC, new studios coming from big AAA parties, and much, much more. But before we dive into all that, we do have to take a moment and celebrate and congratulate Google Stadia on their second anniversary once again. We did it on our live stream, but let's do it on the podcast too. After all, this is the longest running Stadia podcast this side of Google Maps. And yes, 2 years, Richie. The journalists out there said they'd never make it. They said to us at the beginning, why are you doing a podcast based on Stadia? It'll never make it past the birthing period. And yet here we are, Richie. Our child is 2 years old. Toddler, terrible twos. However you want to describe it. We celebrated with cake, bagels, playing games this past week on Friday. Of course, many of you joined us for Outcasters, Killer Queen Black, and of course, Richie's favourite game of the month, Dirt 5.
You know what? I actually enjoyed Dirt 5 a lot more.
You got better.
It was last night that we were actually playing, because we were recording this on the Saturday. But I actually did enjoy it a bit more. I was a lot better than I was the first time round. So I was actually had some nice racing moments with some other people we were playing with, so that was good.
There's a marked improvement. Either you've got
I
better,
wasn't just in last, miles away, just crashing in every corner.
Yeah, either you've got better or the collection of people who played with us on Friday have gotten worse. One of the two. There's a balance going on there.
Have I been secretly practicing?
Could do. But don't forget, everyone, it's still a Stadia Pro game for the month of November, which we're still in, so go claim it if you haven't done so already. Great game. I've had loads of time, fun playing it, and again, a title that I probably wouldn't have otherwise played if I didn't have Pro. So shout out to Pro, shout out to Stadia. We're going to be talking about the birthday a little bit more as part of the news, but before we dive into all that, don't forget to like the video, give us a click on that bell, subscribe, and share with everybody out there, so people who like Stadia, like playing games, are looking for a podcast to maybe listen to while they're doing the garden, driving on their commute to work, or maybe they're just chilling in the bath using electrical devices dangerously in the way that they probably shouldn't. But Richie, before we get into the juicy stories for the week, I think you need to let the public, let all your adoring fans know what you did this past week.
I finally did it. I finally platinum Persona 5.
You did it.
It took me about 185 hours of my life, but I got it.
You got it. You did it. You achieved it.
My total playtime for now for Persona is well over 300 hours.
Oh, you've played it twice through, haven't you?
Yeah, I've rolled credits twice. I didn't roll credit on my New Game Plus playthrough because I just couldn't be bothered. Once the final trophy popped, it's like, that's it, I'm done. I'm out.
That's certainly impressive. That is very impressive. That's a lot of commitment, time, and you've done it.
If I was playing on a higher difficulty than normal in my New Game Plus, then I would have went through to the end just to say I've done it, but I actually dropped from the New Game Plus playthrough. Instead of I usually play on hard, I dropped it back to like easy, the easiest setting, just to power through.
Well, congrats.
This was all about trophy. It's not about my skill, it's about just getting them trophies.
Getting that platinum. Well, congratulations, and now you have got that classic gamer problem. I saw you tweet out about this. Yeah. The void that is left by hours and hours of like a committed plan, you know what to do, and then now it's gone and done.
I think it probably took me about 6 weeks or something to come to platinum for someone, so there's a decent chunk there, like, and now what's then you go,
what's next?
Roll credits, go, what's next?
Yeah. Did you uninstall the game straight away?
I've uninstalled it on my PS5, but it's still installed on my PS4. But I was mainly actually playing on my PS4.
Right. So it's not that kind
the main reason I was playing on my PS4 rather than my PS5 is my PS4 is on my desk here, so I could have other stuff going on my PC as well. Because again, when you're just trophy hunting, I'm not paying attention to the story the second time round or anything. I just want to bam through it all.
So now the void is upon you. We've obviously got another month of Stadia Pro games only 10 days away, because let's remember, folks, we're nearly at that time of the year where Christmas is upon us, and Christmas leaves us with that weird void as well. You know, that week between Christmas and New Year's, when, similar to your gaming problem you've now got, where there's just kind of, Christmas had this big build-up, it happened, and then everyone's kind of just hanging around for New Year's. There's like 5 days in between, a week in between.
Yeah.
So, folks,
that's prime gamer time. That.
Yeah, if you're off work, if you're luxurious enough to be off work, lucky enough. Why did I say luxurious? Yeah. Either way, Richie, you've got a void to fill, and we love you people out there in the comments below to let Richie know or suggest what you would recommend he plays. You know what he likes? Probably not another JRPG that takes up half of his life, I'm guessing. Maybe.
Maybe. I am thinking about Tales of Arise. I was thinking about Trails to the Sky, one of the Legend of Heroes, the first of the Legends of Heroes thing. I've got that. I already have it on Steam, which is why I'm considering it. And we've obviously got Cold Steel. I think it's 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 on Stadia.
Yeah.
So, but actually, last night while I was drunk after the stream, I bought Ni no Kuni 2 on PlayStation 5 because it was £6.71.
Yeah, that late night shopping.
It was like 87% off. I was like, okay.
You can't not.
Yeah, I was like, even if I don't play it, it's a game that is on my radar as a JRPG fan. It's like, well,
what are you gonna do?
What's £7?
Yeah, been there.
So that's now very much in the consideration because I own it.
Okay, so let them know, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. Tweet at RichieC89 your suggestions, your recommendations, any little things that you think you should pick up and play instead. I myself have rounded up Far Cry. That's done. I did the Insurgency missions that I told you about, so that's totally finished. And now the vast DLC is out. Don't know whether I want to jump into it straight away. I do have it as part of the gold edition that I bought, but I'm not sure if I necessarily want to just immediately dive back in. I might let it breathe a little bit before going back in. I was saying pre-show and on our stream, I finished Guardians of the Galaxy as well. Terrific game. Really wish it came to Stadia. I thought it would have been a fantastic place to play through it. It would have been Square Enix and Adios Montreal. Of course, we've got the Tomb Raider games, we've got Avengers, but alas, it was not to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we get it next year as some kind of maybe Game of the Year edition if they win anything at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Which, Game Awards, by the way, didn't get any nominations, I think, by like one category for maybe music or something, which we'll get into in a different segment of the Game Awards as we get a little bit closer. I think we've got a SideQuest lined up for it, right?
Yeah, we're thinking about doing it maybe in a couple of weeks' time, a bit closer to the Game Awards.
A bit closer. Although December will be on us soon. Just like everybody, the news is going to be on you very, very imminently as soon as Richie introduces us to the
super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka the news.
All the news, as we said at the beginning, rounded up for your enjoyment. And we're going to kickstart the news this week by talking about one particular birthday that happened this past Friday, November 19th, of course, the second birthday. Not yours, Richie. Unfortunately, when we have an entire podcast dedicated to you, that will be a celebration for the ages. It certainly will, the Richie cast. That probably exists. Someone out there.
Probably.
Do it. A different rotating guest Richard on every week where they discuss famous Richards of the yesteryear.
You know what?
King Richard.
If we ever stop Helix Cloud Games, I might start that, just the Richard cast, and every week I just find a different Richard to interview.
I don't think anyone would listen to that. They might.
You never know.
I mean, someone will. People call Richard.
There's some famous Richards out there.
There's some very famous Richards. Richard Madden, of course, featuring in Marvel's Eternals, one of the more recent ones. But we digress. Talking about Stadia's birthday is fessed up on the dock, of course. We celebrated it by doing a live stream with you wonderful community people out there. Stadia celebrated. Chris and Grace from the community manager team jumped on and played some games. They played some Human Fall Flat, some Outcasters, and some Bomberman are online over on Grace's channel there. Go check them out if you haven't done so already. Loads of fun to be had, of course. They also posted quite a lot. They did quite a lot of social changes over the course of as we headed into the weekend to do with their birthday. They put out a celebration video, which was nice to see, where they kind of just summarised a little bit about all of the fun that we've had, all of the games we've played in the cloud, showcasing some of their skills and abilities. Any particular highlights stand out for you, Richie?
From the video,
just in general.
I'm sure. I think in the video, I think there was a section where I think it was Grace was streaming Rainbow Six Siege, and I think that might have been our game against her.
Right,
I don't know for certain, but I'm going to claim it is.
When we celebrated by destroying their team 3-0.
Yeah.
But they thanked us, of course. We are officially Stadians. It's official. We've known it for a while, but it's the first time I think we've seen it used in an actual video montage. But that was great to see. They did tweet out some facts as well, which I want to read about to kind of celebrate. So reading from their Twitter blog, they posted out a little graphic. 73 adventure games through new worlds like sweltering jungles of Far Cry 6 and the dark, creepy village dwellings of Resident Evil. 10 game trials and demos that are free for any Stadia play, including Immortals Phoenix Rising, Riders Republic, and Crater. And 19 titles, including Hitman 3 or Far Cry 6, that have been added with Stadia features such as State Share or Stream Connect. An important one for me, over 1,630 gigabytes of estimated saved memory space by streaming instead of installing games. Pro titles, a library of 91 games included in Pro to explore. Some amazing hitters like Resident Evil 7, Jedi Fallen Order, and some smaller titles like Risk of Rain and Enter the Gungeon. And more importantly, 976 hours of gameplay on average to beat these main stories in single-player games, according to howlongtobeat.com. So, a couple of stats. We've known this anyway, Richie. We cover this every week, but we know the library's been getting bigger. We know they're just short of 100 games this year. Or are they just over 100? Just short of?
I think we're over 100 pro games now.
Not pro games for this year, for 2021.
Oh, yeah, I think we're over 100, yeah.
So they've done good work. They've stayed true to their promise there. Of course, the pro library is getting better. 91 games. I think our friend Inlead over on his site tweeted out the other day saying that as of now, if you join on Stadia Pro, there's more games to claim now, right off the bat, than there ever has been. I think it's like 40 plus as it stands. So if you're getting into the platform right now, best thing, there's a ton of stuff to play without even having to drop a penny beyond your free trial. So great stuff.
Yeah, well, Inley put a nice graphic out that shows the breakdown of all the Stadia Pro games, and in 2019 there was 4 games. 2020 it went up to 61, and now there's 112 games in total as of the 19th.
So if you've been a pro subscriber from the beginning, you will have an immense library. Like we both have.
We've got 112. We've got 112 games as part of Stadia Pro.
Yeah, it's terrific stuff, and I know a lot of them I haven't even touched yet, just because of back catalogue and other things. But it was just kind of like a nice day. We didn't get any big news. We won't lament on that for too long. I think some people had expectations of grandeur, and we've
already spoke about expectations on the news and what we would like to. We did a whole side quest on what we would like to see, what we think might happen.
And we were wrong.
And I think we were quite right. I think we both kind of said that we're not expecting like a big press conference or anything, but things like sales or maybe a new pro game, they're the sort of things we could see.
Yeah, for me it felt very much like, I think it kick-started with, of course, all of the awesome people in the community. John Scar pulled everyone together and organised like this big celebration post of content creators, fans, founders, all of those people, and I think it just got the day off to a really good start, where it just felt like a day of positivity. Everyone sharing love about games and what to play, and again, to their credit, Stadia got involved officially. They put some posts out thanking founding members of the community, spotlighting a couple of them, which is terrific. People who've been there from the start, and it was just kind of like a really good day of back and forth between developers.
It was nice. We can be quite critical of Stadia at times, and I think rightly so. But these times when it's nice to just put that aside and just enjoy the platform for what it is, as it is now. And yesterday was one of them days.
Yeah, and it would have been so easy to just, like you said, be overcritical and really go at them for, you've done nothing, you've only done X, Y, Z, but that's not what we're about. That's what we don't want our community to be about. We're all gamers. We all love playing games. So why don't we just enjoy it for once? Like, just sit back and play 150 hours of Persona 5, or do what makes you happy. As we say here, Richie, as you coined it on the channel, just play wherever makes you the happiest, and play whatever makes you happy. Of course, big publishers got involved. Ubisoft were thanking them. I think Stadia did actually a really good job of getting there was like a little graphic you've probably seen, Richie, they shared with all of the publishers and developers, where they put their game cover art in kind of like a little Stadia imagery with some logos and some of the Stadia font. And we saw throughout the course of the day all of like Outright Games, Ubisoft, some of the smaller indie ones just basically publish out saying like, celebrating 2 years with Stadia. Even I think Death Carnival did it, and their game's not even out yet. So it was
I saw that.
Good to see that they clearly reached out to their partnerships and actually said like help celebrate with us. Like, you're part of this journey as well, and the more people talking about it, it just creates that buzz. So still didn't hear anything from the journalist side. Not a peep from like IGN, Kotaku saying, like, not even ironically saying, "Oh, Stadia's still alive. They made it to 2 years," which I'm surprised at.
There's still time. They might see something pop up on Monday.
Yeah, once they all shake the
generally, everything was kind of kicking off on Friday evening, and journalists sometimes take weekends off.
Yeah,
although I'm not expecting much. It might be just a rundown. I could see it being like a bullet point and a summary of like, here's what happened last week with Stadia's first year anniversary.
Yeah.
Cool, guys.
The most I think we'll see is maybe like a second year review, because they go back and review like PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch every few years. Every year, in fact. Like, they review the games, the library, the tech, the different iterations. So maybe we'll see it one day.
What are you talking about? Maybe we should do like a State of Stadia in the second year, at the end of a second year review.
I mean, we can always do one, can't we?
Yeah, that's SideQuest.
Yes, of course. If you are a member of the channel, which you can do, you can support us a little bit more by clicking join below on the YouTube link. You get SideQuest up to 6 days early, usually the day of recording. If not, it's usually on the Sunday, where we talk a little bit in more depth, Richie, about a particular Stadia subject. And yes, on the topic of second year anniversaries and that, you can check out right now. If you're watching this, listening to this on the Monday, and you think, I need another Stadia hit, I need that fix, I need more news, if you join the channel as a member, you can listen to it right now. If not, wait till Friday. It'll drop on free feeds if Richie remembers to upload the video and tweet out about it.
It's when we don't stream on the Thursday, and it messes me up, my schedule.
We know. But terrific, and I just wanted to round out this news story about Stadia's birthday in news by giving you a little quote. So I just want to be clear, I don't know where this quote came from. I think Stadia shared it with some of the bigger content creators who they know. So I know Sonny referenced this in a video he posted on Thursday before the birthday, and our friend John Scar commented on this as well. He posted the whole message in it, and they both lined up. So this message just came from the Stadia team. I just wanted to read the quote from it. So, what's next for Stadia? Well, we're geared to continue working on bringing the best games and new features to our community of players so we can help build a bright future for cloud gaming. This means continuing feature experiments with the goal of making it easier for players to get into games and try Stadia for themselves. We're still learning from input provided by our community and appreciate all of the constructive feedback. Expanding all categories of games content, not just more games overall, but new types of games that we've heard players ask for, including genres like online action games, open world titles, plus free games, trials, and demos, bringing Stadia to more devices and making it easier to access purchases and play games by yourself or with friends. And that was the statement. I don't know where it came from, but it's well written, and I think there's a couple of little nuggets in there, Richie, which I like the sound of. More games, always better. Listening to feedback, always better. But more, I think the overall thing is just they're committed to the future of cloud gaming, which we know, but I think people think Google are just going to call it a day. And I don't believe the games... There's a story actually later in the news about the size of the cloud gaming industry and the market in general. In any business, if you know that's the projected growth, you just got to play the long game, right?
I think the strategy... I think the strategy's changed a lot. I don't think they're trying to go all full steam ahead to catch up with Sony and Microsoft anymore. Mm-hmm. I think that's fairly obvious that they're not trying to do that.
Yeah.
But I think they've realised if we just stay the course, keep bringing in games, let it grow naturally, then we might eventually get there. We might carve out our niche within the industry. I have views on that. I think it's not the best solution. I think sometimes they do need to be a bit more aggressive, but we've talked that to death anyway.
We certainly have. Well, I'll tell you what we've not talked to death, Richie. Story number 2. New games coming to the platform. We got a surprise announcement this week. One that we've actually been talking about and suggesting for the platform for some time. And it is different. So back to what they just said about new types of games. The Jackbox Party 8-pack is now available on the platform. And we've theorised this would be great for Stadia in general. If you've not played the Jackbox Party games, they are essentially a collection of little online games that you play with your friends, usually not using a traditional controller. It's using your phone or a tablet, some kind of online device to connect to a web link. It creates like 8-player games where very much party games inspired, like charades, charades, but it utilizes technology, and you get to play loads of fun games. Out of these 8, Richie, in this particular edition, of course, it's missing a few favourite ones from past iterations, but it's got Drawful, Animate, which is a newer version of the Drawful game, The Wheel of Enormous Proportions, Weapons Draw, Pull Mine, and Job, which I'm not sure what they are yet without playing the game. Any of your particular favourites from the old Jackbox Party packs?
Oh god, it's been a while since I played any.
We played a lot of them, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, Fibbage is always good. Drawful was always a standout, so I'm glad that's made the cut. But I don't know, I think it's one of them things with it being the 8-pack, they have to keep iterating all games they put in there, what mini games to put in. You can't just keep putting the same stuff in, because otherwise, what's the point? Yeah,
it's just the same stuff over again. But yeah, we've played a few at house parties and stuff, and it's always an interesting one with the Jackbox games, because I think I've played them with like my parents and family members who aren't traditional gamers, and when you say at a house party or you're having people around for food or drinks and stuff, it's like let's turn on the PlayStation, and you always get this kind of like my parents are like, really, are we doing this? And people who aren't gamers are like, here we go.
But if you went, let's get a board game out, they'd be like, oh yeah, let's do that. It's kind of the same thing.
It's such a weird like stigmatism around gaming still. Yeah. But yeah, you tell them all, download the app on your phone and log in with the code, and once you get kind of through 1 or 2 games, you kind of see their eyes lighting a little bit, like, I get it. I understand how it works.
It's not a fun video game in the traditional sense.
Yeah, I'm not dishing out 8 controllers and saying like let's all play a kart racer or something, which could be fun in its own right. But the great thing with the party packs is there's a lot of variation. It's a lot of party games. Great for Christmas. I think it's a great get for as we go into this holiday season. And more importantly, there is a 30-minute free trial. So if you haven't played the game or you maybe want to get your head around how it works, check out the trial. And then buy it if you feel so inclined. We've said we'll probably.
I actually wasted my 30-minute free trial by accident. I was because I think our friends over at Stadia Hunters actually dropped the news before any other site that I saw post it. It's like, so when I was on their website looking, and I accidentally clicked the link to the thingy page. This was before the game actually was on the store. And it came up, when you start 30-minute trial starts now, I was like, bugger, I was at work as well, so I was like, I can't even play.
On your own. Like, hey work friends, I know I'm supposed to be working. Fancy a game of Jackbox Party in the office?
But it was that curiosity, it's like, the link's there, I wonder if this works. So I hit it.
Yeah, definitely. The game is priced at $29.99 Great British pounds, $30, $40, whatever it is, your side of the pond. And a little bit too much for me at the moment. I always think with these games, I have only ever purchased the previous iterations whilst on sale, because £30.
I think it's your mileage may vary situations. Like if you have people around and you play these sort of games every single week and you're gonna have a blast all the time with it, £30 is probably nothing for you. If you're like me, where I'm probably going to get out once in a while, I don't think, like, even if I was with my parents, I think bringing something like this out probably just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So like that £30 is like, it's £30 that I'm probably going to play once or twice on stream, and that's about it.
It is that like value proposition. Obviously, it is new, by the way. It's only just came out on consoles recently, I believe, as well. And so it is still like a new entry. It's by no means like an older game that we're getting. The great thing, though, is no controller is still needed, so it functions the same way as it does on a console. Stadia simply boots up a link, and then other people log in with their mobile devices and stuff.
One of the reasons why we've been such a big advocate for this on Stadia is because it doesn't require anything. You can everyone's already got a phone, so you can use your phone to basically set the game up. Everyone gets the app on the phone. Someone can just cast Stadia to a TV with a Chromecast, or as we get more Android TVs with Stadia baked in and stuff, people just have it there without input. You can use your phone like just as a controller now.
Yeah.
You literally, to play Jackbox, you just need to buy the game.
Yeah, and a good example of that is when I have played it with my family in the past, it's required my brother to unplug his PS4, take it around my parents' house, get behind their TV, pull all the tables and drawers out, hook it up, get connected to the Wi-Fi. It's a whole ordeal, whereas you're totally right. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, but as smart TVs roll out and people have Chromecast, you would just simply cast Stadia to the Chromecast or do what you need to do, I'll log on the TV and it's there. Another thing I hadn't even thought of is, obviously you can play Stadia on other devices. So if say we went away, Richie, with some friends for, I don't know, a camping holiday or something, I could get Jackbox up on my tablet and everyone could sign in with their phone and we could play it in like the middle of a field, in theory.
Yeah.
Without having to lug around the whole box and the TV and everything. You could play it at the back of a car. Just someone would have to sacrifice their phone to be the kind of hub point, and everyone else could play it on their mobile devices. So, interesting take. I'm looking forward to it. And if you've played it already, let us know how it goes.
There was one more point I wanted to bring up, because on the Stadia store page, it lists the number of players as single player or one player local multiplayer. Which that's kind of like, what's that about? Can you not play online? But Tom did some tests behind the scenes, and apparently it works exactly like Jackbox. You expect it to work. You get the code, and anyone who can see that code can join your game.
Do you think
good.
That's more of like a legal thing, where because technically there's only one person controlling the menu interface, that it's one player through this platform, then it's multiplayer through obviously the interwebs and stuff. Yeah,
I mean, I bring it up just because I think it's a point of clarity, just in case anyone like me looks at it and goes, what's that about?
Yeah.
But it's something that I think Stadia could put a bit more of an explanation in there.
Yeah. In brackets, just plus online up to whatever 100,000 people that can play it. Yeah. But we've got it. It's here. Great to see. I'm glad they've gone with a new entry as well. Although the thing with the Jackbox was they're kind of evergreen titles. If you went back and dug out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they'd all still be fun in their own right. It wouldn't take anything away.
We've got the newest one now. There's no reason why they won't start porting the others.
Yeah, if it starts doing well, sells well, we all know. Get it on Pro. Something like Pro for Christmas. Wouldn't surprise me. Everyone can play them over the Christmas with the family. Speaking of games you might not want to play with your family, however, we've got 2 new announcements as part of this week's community blog. Stadia promoted that we are starting off, story number 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 to 5. Watch out, Dolly Parton, the game is coming for you. 9 to 5, the shooter, which is teased at, I think it was last year's Game Awards actually, is coming to the platform. So just reading from the community blog, it's from Red Hill Games. Its release date is December 8th, so you will not have to wait too long. And more importantly, it is a free game. They didn't clarify it as Stadia Pro, they just straight out said it's a free game. 9 to 5 is a free-to-play, 3v3v3, triple threat, team-focused first-person shooter set in a future world where corporations rule and being their mercenary is just another job. Collaboration and smart team play is what gets the job done around here, not just pure reflexes. Customize your loadouts, mod your favourite weapons, and make a killing in 9 to 5 early access period. Includes full crossplay and cross progression with PC.
That last bit is huge for me. Any online game, crossplay, cross progression, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A few features, of course. The unique thing we highlighted there was the 3v3v3. So there's an interesting dynamic that goes on within the game where it's not just one opponent. There is a whole other team flanking you around the side or plotting against you as well. Traditional customization. Looking at the trailer, and I watched some gameplay of some content creators online playing the title in early access, and it obviously immediately I think of Rainbow Six Siege. Like, it's hard not to when it's a first-person military shooter with team-based tactics. However, the third-person element, and it looks like there's some different game modes within it, could be quite interesting. What about you, Richie? First takes on 9 to 5?
I haven't looked in that much depth, but I think the concept sounds quite interesting. But adding 3 teams instead of just 2 teams, which is what you traditionally get, I think it does change up the gameplay. Probably change up the gameplay a lot, and could make it interesting for things like if it's put in more game modes, things like a capture the flag sort of game mode, but then you're kind of like fighting against 2 teams rather than 1.
Yeah.
So that sort of King of the Hill sort of modes, all them sort of game modes that have always done quite well in 2-team games. But now that a third team focus is like just put an interesting spin on it.
Yeah.
It's worth remembering the game is still in early access. You can actually download it already on Steam, because I actually have, but I just haven't had a chance to look into it. Because when I saw it was like free, I quickly checked Steam. It's like, with it being cross progression and cross play as well, it's like there's no reason why I can't just play on one evening. You're playing on Stadia, I'm playing on Steam.
Yeah, Very true, very true. It does again follow similar traits to Rainbow Six Siege as well. They call them shifts, but because I guess this is your job in this dystopian corporate futuristic world. I like actually how it says in the blurb. It says in a future where corporations rule. I'm like, is that not today? The corporations not rule the world?
It feels
already?
very much like today.
It's like Amazons and the Googles out there. But yeah, it does things in shifts. So similar to Siege, it almost has like waves. So after you complete your objections or your time runs out in phase 1, there is a second phase and a third phase. So it's not like it's just one game and out. You have to progressively play over a course of multiple shifts, as they quote on this one. Which hopefully, I'm hoping it just changed up every game mode. Early impressions from people out there on the internet. Not amazed by it. It's kind of been mixed reviews. I've seen some people say it's very mediocre. Of course, breaking into the first-person shooter scene is immensely difficult right now. So I'm hoping the 3v3v3 and the injection of cross-player PC progression helps this game really kind of like rise to the success I hope they want.
As a small studio as well, you're going up against things like Rainbow Six Siege. You're going up against
Apex,
like Call of Duty, Battlefield. That's hard to break into.
Yeah.
And Red Hook Games was founded in 2018, so this is probably their first game.
Right, the first foray into big.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. Looks like polished and clean. So we'll see about that one. But won't have to wait long. 8th of December, free. So not one of your pro games, but it's free to play. So go check it out.
Doesn't matter.
We'll most likely be streaming it. We're big fans of Siege. I'm always happy to check out a new game. So we'll jump on with you, the awesome community. See if we can get a 3v3v3 game going with you beautiful people out there. Also, following on from the community blog, next game story of the week, we got the confirmation. We covered it on the podcast a few weeks back that Hunting Simulator 2. The cover art threw me off there because it says Hunting 2 in big letters and then Simulator underneath it. So is it called Hunting 2 Simulate? Or Hunting
No, it's Hunting Simulator 2.
Which is interesting that it's not got like an annualized year on it, like 2021, 2022, which the tenant like to do with these type of games. But I digress. Hunting Simulator 2 was rated a while ago for Stadia. We now have confirmation via the blog. It's open season, ladies and gentlemen. It's stunning natural environments. Choose your gear from the best official weapons and accessories and set off with your dog in search of a variety of animal species in this hunting simulation. Explore the Texan deserts and forests of Colorado and Europe as you track down 33 animal species. Choose your gear from over 160 official weapons, accessories and clothing items, including Browning, Winchester and Bushnell, which I think are rifles, right? The Winchester?
Yeah, I think so.
Features include hunting in an open world, a wide variety of animals, realism is at the heart of the gaming experience, a faithful companion, lots of equipment to choose from, and I guess, in summary, killing animals for sport. But Richie, I think we said when we talked about this on the rating, not really one for us. I'm a big fan of the simulator games.
Well, when I think of a simulator game, I usually think of something like Roller Coaster Tycoon or The Sims, that sort of stuff. Where this is very much seems to be, it seems to be more of a first-person shooter that goes in the simulation as like, we're going to simulate what it's like being out on the hunt.
Yeah.
Rather than, here's a simulation, you've got a city to manage.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think we said when we talked about the rating, but it's one of them games where I kind of feel like it exists in all the other games. Like when I play Red Dead Redemption, I hunted animals. When I play Far Cry, I hunted animals. So I don't have any urge whatsoever to dedicate like my time to just hunting. I guess you have to be a fan of.
If you're a fan of hunting and video games, then I think this is probably for you because it's meant to be. Seems to be going down that more realism side as the put. It's like it's more. I can imagine to be things like you have to approach certain things from like downwind, so they don't catch your scent. Stuff like you wouldn't get in a Far Cry.
Smear the mud.
Yeah,
smear mud.
You're not going to be able to just chuck a hand grenade at a deer then harvest it anyway.
Is that not how it works?
No, there'll probably be things like where you shoot whatever you're hunting will matter.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so Hunting Simulator, it's got a November 30th release date actually, so at the time of recording you'll only have to wait 10 more days, folks, till you can cock your rifle and get out there in the wilderness. Moving on to the next star of the week, we actually probably should have touched on it as part of the Stadia birthday celebrations, Richie, but They have announced some deals. If you've not caught them yet, it's part of probably Black Friday, part of celebrating the 2 years. But there's some variety across the kind of globe. I think in the US they've got the Stadia Premier Edition can be picked up for $22.22. Over here in the UK, we've got a price down on the Premier Editions as well. I think it was a different part of the States. If you buy a game over $30, you also get a Premier Edition. So they kind of have like a double deal going on right now. So things like Far Cry, Life is Strange were part of the promotion. And poor Canada, missing out again. They just got left out of everything. No deals over there.
I wonder if they've just ran out of Premier Editions in Canada. Like, at least ran out of the Chromecast Ultras. Because every time there's like a deal that seems to have a Chromecast Ultra as part of it, Canada seems to get left out, and it seems an odd decision.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just a legal thing or what.
But then they seem to push it across most countries in the EU and the UK and America. So it seems like, and it's Google we're talking about, I'm sure it's something they can find a way to sidestep the legalities.
Well, yeah, and we've also said, distribution, you think you just move your stock around. In the UK, £19.99, and it's, if anyone's thinking of getting a Christmas present for like anyone who's slightly tech inclined, it's a really good win, just because you're getting such value in the Chromecast Ultra alone. That's like, if you're half it, £10, that's £10 for a controller that can be used on a PC as well, and a Chromecast Ultra, which is 4K streaming on any TV in your house, it's a bargain.
If I didn't have a drawer full of Chromecasts and more controllers I know what to do with, I might have been tempted.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got 2 Premier Editions just sat.
You know what? If it was a black controller with this deal,
I thought
it's the only one I have, and I can't. I'm not going to buy one, but just to complete the set, I have 4 controllers. I don't need more.
If it was a Premier Edition with the black controller, I would buy it just to have the set.
I'd buy it and I'd just give the Chromecast to someone. There you go.
I'd give it to another family member or friend. I'd just whack it on Facebook Marketplace.
Just taking to work. Who wants this?
Freebies.
I don't want it. It's free. Have it.
Give it away. It does go back to, though, because I did check the shop just to see if the controllers were discounted, and they weren't. When are they going to run out of these Premier Editions? They must be on their last legs. The Chromecast Ultra, just let the thing rest in peace.
Yeah, they've brought back the Chromecast Ultra in the store as well as just a single standalone item. So I'm guessing they keep finding them.
Just under the couch. Oh, we found another few.
We found another 500,000 Chromecast Ultras.
What does it even come under? Nest. I'm just looking. Oh, it comes under Chromecast. It's got the OG Chromecast, but not the Ultra that I can see on the website.
All right.
Google it.
Maybe they just found but maybe it's just the not OG Chromecast I was thinking about, not the Ultra.
Interesting. But some Black Friday deals out there, folks. Go fill your boots. And again, wherever you are, I've seen loads of people. I've seen people say, I bought 10 on Twitter. And it's like, are you just planning to sell them on eBay for profit? Or do you need 10? Oh, I guess if you've got a big family for Christmas, then win-win, go ahead. Moving on. Next story of the week, Embracer Group. We like to touch on the Embracer Group as part of our weekly Stadia podcast because they do support the platform via their multiple tendrils that go out into the gaming world and buy and acquire everything. Of course, they are the parent company for THQ Nordic, Koch Media, and a bunch of other ones, Deep Silver Labs and stuff, who have plenty of titles on the platform. We were a bit frustrated at the lack of mentioning of Stadia at the showcase event they hosted in the summer. Of course, the new SpongeBob title, the Destroy All Humans 2 remaster, reprobed, I should say, and they didn't clarify anything. I personally think they will come to the platform. There are a few titles I'm kind of just waiting for 2022 announcements from Stadia. We should also point out they also own Gearbox, who brought Borderlands 3 to Stadia, and then subsequently we've not heard a peep about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming to the platform. I'm just kind of waiting for the next kind of big bunch of announcements from Stadia.
This is where we've been with probably for the second half of this year in general. We're just kind of waiting for news on what's coming to Stadia in terms of games.
Yeah, just tell us what's in the pipeline, other than a couple of little indie titles and Ubisoft games, which you know about. But the reason we wanted to bring Embracer Group up again is because they've made a statement of intent, essentially, that they plan to acquire more studios. So this year alone, 2021, they've acquired 37 new game studios, a summary of kind of indie and bigger studios. And they've said, and we quote, the latest financial report, the company states it expected to do a similar amount of transactions over the coming 12 months, adding that it has a large range of active processes and dialogues, including a good number of signed exclusive term sheets. In other words, Richie, the wheels are very much in motion for more deals. Yeah. And we've said this is a scarily big company. It owns over 250 franchises now, has 86 internal development studios working on a number of games, and we know about 60 have been announced across different publishing labels, and there's going to be loads that we don't even know about yet.
It's a weird strategy because usually like you get the likes of EA and Ubisoft where they're the publisher and they'll have different studios working for them, either like things like the in-house started studios like Ubisoft Montreal, or the like a Codemasters that's been purchased by EA. Embracer. Embracer. They seem to have, what we're going to do is we're going to have about 8 million different publishers that we own, and then they're going to buy all of the studios.
Yeah. Is it a case of
it's just slightly worrying, to be honest. Like, it's very monopolistic in some ways.
Yeah, just absorb them. But it's...
Anything that's gone free, we'll have it.
Yeah, it's very much like AA as well. Like, they don't put out that... Like, I'd say probably maybe Borderlands is their only AAA franchise that they actually have.
We'll just replace the AA title with just Embracer Standard.
Embracer Standard. But they put out some fun games. Like, that's the thing. Like, there is a place for AA, and like I've played more AA games this year that we categorise as AA games than I've probably ever done in the many years before. But yeah, you just got to kind of sit back and laugh that their intent is just, we're going to buy more. I'm hoping we just see like more fruits of their labour, because I think they've had a lot in development for some time, and we've got like a couple of games. We've got like SpongeBob, we've had the Destroy All Humans first one. I'm waiting to see what they're doing with Time Splitters. I'm sure that's still a while out, but
the thing is, I think at the moment, if you're like the head of an indie studio that's maybe had one or two well received games, not like massive hits, you're probably basically waiting on the call.
Yeah.
Is it going to be THQ? Is it going to be Koch Media? Is it going to be Deep Silver? One of them's going to call me.
Which division are you going to put places into? I worry for like the Thunderful Group or something like that. Like, they'll be absorbed soon. But we laugh. We love some of the titles over there.
Yeah.
Moving on quickly to the next story of the week. The developers Roby Studios, who made the recent pro title Blue Fire on the platform. Nice little indie game, third person action adventure with some 3D platforming. They've announced they're going to be bringing out Voidmaker, Blue Fire Voidmaker. It's a free spin-off game where essentially they take the 3D platforming element, but they've turned it into a more level creation game. So it'll let gamers create and share levels and share them with other people. The only limit is their imagination. So it's an interesting pivot. I'm guessing they're just using their existing tech and assets.
I'm guessing this is what I'm guessing. They've probably built like a level designer themselves to make the game, and they've looked at this and go, you know what? Why don't we just package this and put it out there?
Yeah, it's a quick, I imagine, turnaround for getting some more. I'd say money in the door, but it's free, so
yeah. But it gets people invested in your game. But you know what? I love stuff like this. Especially when I was a lot younger and had a lot more free time in my hands. I used to love messing around with like level editors and stuff. I remember like playing around with the level editor in Morrowind on PC. You can have some great fun. I think these sort of things can get people inspired to like get into making video games.
Yeah.
Like the level editor in Age of Empires 2 is a classic one. I'm sure you've played with as well.
Oh yeah, like Age of Empires, like it was kind of like Minecraft before Minecraft was a thing, where you would just like build and design and layout. Like I might have said it on the show before, but yeah, me and my brother, we used to do in Stronghold 2, like, which is again it's like Age of Empires, but I felt it sometimes had more creation tools because it was a newer title, and we used to literally pen and paper draw out maps and campaigns in like a little binder. So it would be like chapter 1 would be this campaign, and we'd write out the whole reason for the war and the battle, the two sides that were facing each other. We'd like try and use like local areas, so us in the northeast, so we'd put like York and Scarborough and all these like older places that we knew had castles. Durham, that
old rivalry, York versus
Scarborough. And we used to put them on maps and draw them out, and we used to create them in Stronghold and Age of Empires, and then we just used to kind of like take turns and create our own story. And yeah, like the games like Minecraft and stuff and Creator on Stadia have obviously opened the door to coding and creation more than, and make it more accessible than ever before. So you're completely right. Yeah, bringing tools to newer audiences for free just to play with it. It's inspiring. It's great to see.
Can you imagine if, like, 12-year-old Chris had played through Blue Fire, had a great time with it, and then suddenly he's given a level creator to play around, he can start making his own levels, start making his own challenges, sharing them with his friends. Bring State Chair to this. I think, this needs State Chair. 100% needs State Chair.
Yeah, I mean, some of the points they've said in their kind of release announcement is, 3D action platforming keeps growing with Voidmaker, but this time it's up to you. Discover Voidmaker and share your creations, prove your worth. Think outside the void, hardcore platforming, and completely free, no strings attached. So, and straight from the quote there, we love our community, we want it to grow, so we've decided to make Voidmaker completely free. And we should caveat that with the expansion, the recent expansion, Void of Sorrows, which was recently released, hasn't came out on Stadia yet. It has been confirmed as coming, but they're waiting for approval from Stadia's end. And our friends over at Stadia Source did ask them about the free Voidmaker expansion or free game, I guess what this is going to be, and they said their intention is to bring it as well. So it's just a case of, I think, when, not what, not if. But yeah, you love to see it. I enjoyed what I played of Blue Fire initially because of course it was a pro game. I checked it out, and I played it on my phone with the Razer Kishi, so I don't think I give it the kind of the showcase it deserved, but it was one that I had fun with the bit that I did play. So
I almost feel that's a better way to play, with it being a bit of a smaller title, all about the platform challenges. You want to be up close and personal with it.
Yes, however, I feel like because it doesn't have any verbal dialogue, it's all written, like when the characters interact on a like as big as my phone screen is, it's still kind of like it wasn't.
It probably needs like text scaling.
Yeah, definitely. But go check it out. Still available to claim now, I believe. But regardless of that, we're getting a new free game further down the pipeline. So more good news. Speaking of things down the pipeline, Richie, we talked about it a little bit on Friday's stream, but Outriders. It's had its big latest expansion, and in the form of called New Horizons. It's a big major update, giving some refresh to missions, and it's going to have a full mega expansion in 2022. So early 2022, and it's finally brought the Stadia version in line with everybody else, and with it came crossplay finally. Now we theorise on this at the end because it's on a great sale at the moment. If you're a fan of Outriders or you've had your eye on this one, it's actually marked down less than £20 at the moment, or $20 stateside. And again, this game only came out this year. However, on a Stadia front, I chatted about it yesterday. I'm in this dilemma now where I really enjoyed the beta or the demo trial for this. I played it on PlayStation. I was going to buy it and then I didn't. And then if we remember, the last 6 months on Stadia, the game has ran like, I'm not going to swear, the game has ran terribly. And it's finally been patched and then finally brought us crossplay 6 months after it was promised. And I'm kind of torn, Richie, between... It's on a sale of £20. Do I give these developers my money and play the game? I'm intrigued by it, and it's at a good price. However, I'm also very bitter that they've not supported the platform respectfully enough to, not necessarily just Stadia, but the people who've purchased their game, their gamers, their fans, at full price. So all the poor people who put £60, £50, whatever it was at launch, they've been shafted for nearly half a year by these developers. And I'm kind of like... I'm in a weird place. Like, I know it's quite interstitial compared to other problems in life, but what do you think? What do you think of this? Where does Outriders sit with you?
I have zero interest. Partially because I didn't. The demo just didn't really click for me. It felt just a bit generic and a bit directionless, and I really don't get what they want this game to be, because they're saying it's not games as a service. But is it a persistent online multiplayer experience? So if it's not games as a service, why do you need that persistent online element to it? I don't really
you play with
get.
Other people, and they have like monthly, weekly challenges and stuff. So I kind of get it's more probably akin to.
But I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I just don't really have much interest in like persistent online world at all.
Yeah. because
it doesn't do a lot for me, and the demo just didn't click in a way at all. So I was like, I pass.
Yeah. It's been an interesting journey because obviously it had loads of success. It went on Game Pass. It did wonders, and then it fell off a cliff, and no one spoke about it. I don't think since maybe like late springtime.
I'm on SteamCharts.com at the moment looking at like the average player base, and like in April I had like 46,000 people playing, May 9,000, June 3,000, July just under 2,000, August 1,000, September, October about 650 average players, with like peak just coming in like 1,400. The last 30 days it has picked up a bit. It's now back over 1,000. But yeah, my thing for Stadia players at the moment though is these are the numbers from Steam where you'd expect there to be much higher than Stadia. Mm-hmm. You might have problems with matchmaking.
Well,
it is on its way back up, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
No, I didn't think. Yeah, because the crossplay will be with Steam players, I guess, as well.
If you're buying this to jump in with random people on the internet and jump in that play experience that way, I'd really keep an eye on that player base. For me, I'd be approaching this as very much a single player game. I play through the story, then I'm out. Maybe jump in with you or some other friends occasionally, but
it can be played single player. I've heard it's a little bit more difficult because you're obviously missing the teamwork element in which the game was intended. But the quote from the article said, this massive update acts as the culmination to the months-long work to improve Outriders and the Outrider player experience, rebalancing class skills and mods, and overhaul the whole expedition store. Looking to next year, there's a full expansion called titled World Slayer. We've got a teaser which is available now to watch. But again, how do you feel about this whole? Actually, ironically enough, the patch didn't go live when it was promised. People had to tweet at them, and the Stadia team said we're aware of it. People Can Fly said, we will get it. And I think I can't help but feel Stadia. I'll put that on this whole development cycle.
I'll put that bit, the patch launch on Stadia being. I put that as the difficulties gone through happens. It can happen to any company, that sort of stuff. But the fact it took over 6 months to get the game to playable, and it took that long largely because of kind of almost openly pushed Stadia to the side, it basically ignoring that potential fan base to focus on other platforms, and then going, once we've got this next big patch, then we'll bring you on board then, rather than going, we're going to work on getting you up to speed so that you're in line for the next patch.
Yeah.
I don't know, it wouldn't sit right with me as a Stadia player. I think players outside of Stadia probably don't care, but we're a Stadia podcast, so you kind of need to make a decision for yourself. I personally am not a fan of the way that of a developer publisher like treating their customers in that sort of way.
Yeah, because regardless of platform, you are a customer.
We know you bought the game. Yeah, we know you've bought the game. We know it doesn't work. We'll get to it at some point. That's not good. For something, I truly believe that if the game isn't ready for launch, don't launch it.
Good point.
Delay.
So I'd be interested.
People are okay with delays.
I'd be interested, folks, to hear what you think out there. I'm sure many of you. I've seen a couple of people. Actually, last night when we streamed, there was a lot of people on my friend list playing Outriders because I thought it said Outcasters, and I thought there was a lot of people jumping back into Outcasters because of the birthday celebration. However, let me know. Would you buy it at 20?
The price is good, though.
The price is good. Like, it is arguably a AAA title that was popular when it launched. It's just fell off the edge of a cliff.
For about a week.
But again, if I get a week's enjoyment out of it for £20, that's probably a good return. So let me know. Help me make a decision. I don't know how long the sale's on. I'll probably miss it knowing my luck. But we'll see. Outriders, folks. New Horizons and World Slayer coming soon.
There's no right or wrong in this conversation. You just kind of decide what works for you. Are you happy to jump in for £20? If so, have fun.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you move on.
Yeah. I also have £30 worth of like Google Play credits sat on my Stadia account like Ben in a hole.
Is that why you're tempted?
Yeah, probably, because I got some vouchers and stuff, and then added them on. They've been sat there for like 2 months now, and I got Tomb Raider. I bought like Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow, one of them. But I'm like,
it's a shame you can't pay for your Stadia Pro with that.
Yeah, maybe one day.
That'd be useful.
Moving on though, next story of the week, we've got a new studio announcement from Ubisoft. They are announcing a 4th video game development studio in Quebec, in the city of Sherbrooke. So it's going to be known as Ubisoft Sherbrooke, conveniently enough. It's known as an academic and economic hub of the Eastern Townships. The new studio reaffirms Ubisoft's commitment as a major economic player, serving the province's talent, communities, and ecosystems. So we have a 4th studio in the heart of the city, opening up to no doubt support Ubisoft and their massive global games coverage, all working together across multiple IP and franchises. I'd say,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if they're moving more of their franchises to more games as service models, they'll probably need studios dedicated to supporting them. That might be the way they're going. They might have, like, say, one studio working on the new Assassin's Creed, then handing it over to the studio that's going to keep, like, who's going to run the service while the original studio is working on the next batch of content for it.
Yeah, completely.
It's a way you could work it.
Definitely. The managing director is Natalie Jasmine, and Ubisoft Sherbrooke will co-develop some of the group's main franchises and will contribute to the development of most recent innovations in the fields of entertainment and technology. The studio will bring together a multidisciplinary and diverse team composed of professionals from many areas of expertise, notability, production management, programming, graphic design, modelling, animation, and game level design. So what we'd expect, I think they're just going to slot in to the Ubisoft kind of rotation of studios, and they'll probably start off supporting, and then depending on how well they support, they'll probably branch out into their own games. We recently saw it, the Ubisoft studio in India is supporting with the Prince of Persia remake. So these studios I've never heard of. I'm always familiar with, like, Ubisoft Montreal. That's always one that jumps out to me. But yeah, just expanding, getting bigger, and where you've got PlayStation, Xbox going out and acquiring studios, EA as well, you've kind of got Ubisoft building from within, which, for better or for worse, can sometimes take a little bit more time, but at the same time I think they're in line with your, I'd say, values, but I feel that's a dangerous topic with Ubisoft at the moment, talking about values and stuff. We won't get into it.
It's all your processes and procedures that are already written can just be implemented from the ground up straight away.
Yeah, that's a good move. It's a good move, and we'll see what they're doing in the future. Speaking of good moves, Richie, we didn't cover it last week because I think it was just coming out. We recorded this last week's episode a little bit early, so we missed out on this one. But direct streaming to YouTube via Stadia is now a thing. So it's been a feature on Stadia for some time that you can just boot up playing Stadia and you can broadcast immediately to your YouTube channel as long as it's paired up and linked. It now appears, though, that you can stream in 4K up to 60 frames per second in HDR with no caps or restrictions. Richie?
Yep.
This is great for direct streaming. It doesn't really make a difference to us personally. I think
makes absolutely zero difference to that.
We're a firm believer that for this to really succeed and do well, they need to remove the barriers for a few more things first.
Yeah, it's the customization options where I get it. A lot of people seem to like direct streaming. I have very little interest in watching a stream where it's just the game. When I'm watching a stream, I'm watching it for the personalities, the input from the creators, that bit of customization. So they need to add things like microphone support, webcam support through some sort of method. I suggested in our stream last night that you could maybe use your phone as a webcam microphone. So you could just prop up your phone to make it like as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Because I think most die-hard streamers don't direct stream on any platform. They use capture cards, they use things like we tend to use OBS for our PCs for streaming, where it gives you so much customization. We could just basically do whatever we like, with change the layouts we want. That's how we can get the music intros at the start of our stream, because I can just set up a scene. So there's a lot of work to be done with direct streaming to catch up.
Yeah.
But for people just dipping the toes in the water, it's not a bad way to go.
Yeah,
but I think the hardest thing when you start streaming is putting your face out there, putting your voice out there.
Yeah.
And that's what I think they need to focus on next. But getting up to 4K native direct streaming is a fantastic move.
It is. It just, again, it's pushing the tech from the server side straight to YouTube, and it's just that synergy between the two same company, but two aspects of the company into one. And I totally agree. It'd be great if when you like are ready to go live with direct streaming, it gave the option to maybe like add a title overlay, like just maybe like a couple of like a color wheel, pick which color you want to, like maybe put a frame around it, and then a text box so you can type in like Chris plays Outriders, and then just and that's it. And like we said, we theorized on the stream, maybe even use like the tether feature, the Stadia tether feature, to like hook up a camera via Bluetooth or USB cable. Lots of possibilities, and again, the tech might just not exist. Like Stadia could come out next year and say, you've got your Premier Edition, you've got your controller, you've got your Chromecast. Here's a little stick we now sell, which is the streamer stick, and you plug it directly into your phone or your computer, and it does the overlay stuff for you. So
similar to Elgato's Camlink.
Yeah, exactly. Because like
you just plug this into your telly. You plug this in. Maybe it has a splitter. You plug this into your telly in the HDMI port. Your Chromecast goes into one end. Your webcam goes into the other. Microphone goes into another port, and there you go. You can stick your webcam on top of your telly. Put your microphone wherever you want, and you go.
Yeah, completely. And we should say as well, content creation isn't going away. Like if you think about it, in the last few years as we've grown up, like Elgato and stuff, you can go into a shop and buy like camera like ring lights. You can buy webcam mounts. You can buy Stream Deck. The thing with the buttons that does all your animations, they weren't a thing 10 years ago when YouTube, well beyond 10 years, but when YouTube started up, it was just like you uploaded a shitty video from your mobile phone at 3 megapixels or something, and that was all you did.
When it comes to gaming as well, it's because the technology people have in the homes naturally has got better, so they're able to do it. It gives us a different perspective on games than just journalistic articles from big publishers like an IGN or Eurogamer or GameSpot. It means that you can watch someone like you, who's just a bloke in his dining room, playing a game that you're interested in, and you get that kind of like raw experience of how he's experiencing the game, and it can show you a lot more than you can get in just in a written article. You get to see how the mechanics actually work rather than just reading about them.
Yeah. Totally.
Which is why things like IGN do Let's Plays and stuff now.
Yeah,
like,
makes sense.
It's not going away. I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, totally. And we know from like just Twitch and YouTube and YouTube gaming and stuff it's huge.
We're a perfect example of it. Like a couple of years, we decided we wanted to get involved in this sort of stuff with streaming and podcasting, and Stadia was basically our gateway to it.
Completely. But yeah. So we'll see. Plenty of stuff to be done with 4K streaming, but it's a nice little feature, and it's nice to know that they're just tightening the screw on some existing features and just upping it and pushing it to the limit it can go to.
The one thing we've had confirmed on this as well is it will stream at whatever the output on your TV is. So if you've only got a 1080p TV, you're only getting a 1080p stream.
So Black Friday sales.
Yeah, so that means I'm screwed. So this I'd have to get a better TV, but same with HDR. If your TV doesn't support HDR, your stream won't either. But I think that's okay, to be honest.
One for the future, but it's interesting nonetheless. Moving on to one of our final stories of the week, the Saints Row title. Funny enough, from the Embracer Group, Richie, from it's Volition, isn't it? It was under the THQ Nordic banner, I think. I
can't keep track of all the THQ studios.
It's definitely Volition. I just can't remember which sub-banner they fit under the Embracer Group. But we theorised when it was announced that Saints Row was it is just Saints Row. It's just the reboot of Saints Row was scheduled to be released in February next year. We theorised it probably would come to the platform down to the Embracer Group, the relationship with Stadia. However, it has been delayed, unfortunately, so it comes as the creative director, Jim Boone, explains the team just need more time to do our vision justice. We're doing some fine-tuning, and there won't be much change in the game outside of overall quality and polish. The size and scope of the title mean Volition simply need more time to get everything right. Rest assured, there will not be any change to the story of our characters or anything that we've lovingly imagined over the last few years and already shared with you. And we won't be backing down on this game because if you remember when it was first announced, a lot of people said the art style wasn't Saints Row, and there was some people who bemoaned it and said you've changed the visuals too much and stuff. But personally, I appreciated the refreshed look. Saints Row has been one that I've enjoyed what I've played, but it's never been a title that's like it's not a must title.
I think people get too held up in art styles sometimes where if sometimes in art style, look at Borderlands. Borderlands has got a very unique art style, but once you start playing, you forget all about it. You just get engrossed in that game.
Yeah.
I think this will be the exact same.
Yeah, I do actually think it's a good move because, again, if they just did another Saints Row that looked the same, I don't think it would move the needle that much. It would obviously sell, but I don't think it would move it. Where I think, totally different directions and a reboot. Like essentially, it's a reboot for next gen, and that's what they needed. So just a sense check, Richie. It's now been pushed back to August 23rd of August 2022. I think that's a great move because February is very, very busy still. You've got Elden Ring, you've got Horizon on PlayStation coming out, in and amongst other things. So yeah, pushing it back to late midsummer, probably a good move for them. And
there's still the Breath of the Wild sequel to be announced, and that feels like it should be close. I've got a feeling that's going to be announced at Game Awards.
Yeah.
Like the date. It feels imminent. So that could be another February title.
Yeah, we shall have to wait and see.
Thoughts
on this game still coming to Stadia?
I think it's got a good chance. But again,
we need something for next
year. We just need confirmation.
Yeah.
We just need confirmation. And I don't think we're going to get confirmation this year now if it's being delayed.
Yeah, I don't either.
It'd be the next big industry event is Game Awards, and if they're delaying this, I mean, I suppose because we have a date on the delay means that it might still be there.
Yeah.
If this was a case of late 2022, I imagine it probably would have disappeared from the Game Awards.
My guess is going to be E3. We'll see it again. Show up at E3. It's quite close to the
E3
release.
seems like E3 seems like a good time.
Pull us some gameplay and stuff together and showcase it. But yeah, 2022. I'm curious to know like what games I'll be playing on Stadia next year as it stands.
As it stands, it's looking like next year is going to be very heavy on the PlayStation side. Maybe dip my toe back into the Nintendo side because I haven't looked at Nintendo in a while actually.
Yeah, so I haven't touched my Switch since Sword and Shield. That's how.
And I skip Sword and Shield because I have issues with that game, but I'll not get into.
That's not for here. But Saints Row delayed, and hopefully the delay just genuinely does mean that they've got more time to polish it up. And bring it to Stadia. Yeah. If they need more time to develop it, hopefully that means more time to port it as well.
I think it's normal. It's got to the point now where I think because so many games have been delayed and there's never any backlash. Mm-hmm. I think studios are now just delay it.
Yeah. Well, Cyberpunk told
I think that. Right? Yeah, Cyberpunk. The way they delayed things was problematic though.
And GTA
they delayed things too many times. Like I think it's better to go. It's going to come out in the summer. Rather than going, it's going to come out in spring. It's late spring now. It's early summer. It's going to be late summer. They delayed too many times, and it became a bit of a meme. Where if they're just going, you know what, we just need a bit more polish. August 23rd, fine.
Good.
You give yourself 6 months.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
That's
Yeah, and it can be damning on the studio as well, like we saw with CD Projekt Red. We're seeing it right now with Rockstars and the GTA remasters, like the backlash there. So like you could have just waited. Like you could have just waited. Like you're Rockstar, you've not put out another Grand Theft Auto title in 3 generations of console yet. You couldn't have just waited another half a year for these remaster definitive editions.
Rockstar, they really need to sort their act out because Rockstar, one of the biggest ones, have been criticised for crunching the video game industry. And that's another thing that I think studios are just backing away from massively. We're not going to work our staff to death. If we need to delay it, we'll delay it. Yeah. So Rockstar bring out games that are not done to try and just get the game out. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, they've already came out now and apologised and said there's a patch in the works and we'll get it right and stuff. But there was just parts that just look. If you go and look at the memes, the funniest one I've seen, Richie, you'll have to Google it because it's so funny. Is if you get into a vehicle, I think it was in GTA 3. Get into a vehicle and you know when like you drive around, you can do like if you wiggle the left stick, the car will just kind of like wiggle essentially.
Yeah.
The car gets larger as you wiggle to a point where in the clip I've seen, the car's like almost the size of the road, the entire road. And
how?
I don't know how that even happens. Like
it's a remaster of a game. The game's already made. You're just giving it a polish and pushing it, getting it working on like modern hardware. How do you break a game that badly? And then how do you not find like the rain issue? How do you not see the rain issue before it goes live? It's like it's just sloppy, and I think for remaster, it's inexcusable. Because you're meant to be remastering the game, so you're basically porting the game over, giving it a new polish, up-resing it, and then going on a bug hunt.
Yeah, but
what else are you doing?
It made me laugh so much because it's like,
how do you make it worse?
Yeah, because I can understand like falling through the world or textures not looking great. I know they've got rid of the fog, like the fog of war that hides like obviously the crappy draw distance that PS2 era stuff had, and they've got rid of it. So now it's just like a blank void of nothingness, and it makes it look more like a video game than the fog did. So there's just little tweaks, but yeah, this car, if you go check it out, because it's just like the car just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's almost like it's just eating some kind of potion. And it's like, why would a car? I can't. Either way, we digress.
Yeah, just take your time, Rockstar. Just take your time. Release a good product. That's all. Look at how Nintendo rarely delays a game and always bring out polished products because they don't announce things till they're ready.
It's funny. You gotta laugh.
Yeah.
But speaking of improvements and tweaks to games, one of our final stories for the week is winemaking simulator 100 days. Of course, you and Tom had a great time with that. Richie, we're going to go do some wine simulator tonight because we're drinking wine and cheese like sophisticated individuals that we are.
I'm not simulating any wine tonight. I'm just going for the actual stuff.
Gonna neck it. 100 Days, one of the developers, Yeast Hola, over on Twitter has posted out a little tweet just to say, today is the day we start to deploy on test machines 100 Days Wine Simulator, new touch input for testing and QA. So when this game came out, when it was announced, that was one of the first things we said, Richie, on the podcast, was this game would run terrific with touch input. As we've alluded to before, for any kind of RTS style game, turn-based card simulator, touch input would be terrific on Stadia. And we saw it with Humankind, and now it looks like we're going to see it with 100 Days. And I just think it goes a long way to the platform, because I would love things like Roller Coaster Tycoon to come over. I've said Jurassic World Evolution, Planet Coaster, things that would traditionally be mouse and keyboard but can be adapted to touch input. The Sims, yeah, well, that was one of our first EA predictions. The Sims would be great on Stadia. So yes, shout out to them for continuing to develop on this game and think outside the box with what they can do.
I'd like Direct Touch. I think Direct Touch can be a gateway to bring like console PC quality games to the mobile space. And there's a lot of things in the mobile gaming space I'm not fond of, like the business practices, like the whole gotcha like mechanics, the whole loot boxes, all that stuff kind of came from the mobile gaming side. But like for something like 100 Days, I can see it's a very chill game, and to just be able to play just on a tablet, I can see a lot of people having some fun with that. It could turn Stadia into almost how the Wii was received, how a lot of casual people who wouldn't even consider classifying themselves as a gamer got involved in gaming for a brief moment in time. This could be like games like 100 Days, where it's like, if you're interested in wine and just, I'm just going to play it there, I'm just going to mess around with my vineyards for a bit.
It's a good introduction step at some point, and I think we've spoken about it many times before, but the proposition that cloud gaming and click to play has, like the accessibility of it, and you're watching a video, you're reading an article, and you click it, and the whole game is there without a download, without using your it's just it's there. And that kind of brings us on to our final story for the week, and this is a report from the gamesindustry.biz reporting on cloud gaming in general. So we've celebrated Stadia passing 2 years, Amazon Luna still in beta. I'm guessing, Rich, at this point it's 2022 when we see Luna roll out to more countries.
He's a hot prediction. Maybe we get an announcement at the Game Awards.
Maybe anything can happen.
Amazon have done stuff with the Game Awards before for the Amazon Play.
They have, you're right, and Twitch and all that kind of stuff.
It's not outlandish when you think about it.
It's just been so long now. I just want to get my hands on it and test it as well. But yeah, cloud gaming, xCloud has obviously came along leaps and bounds this past year, and according to gamesindustry.biz, cloud gaming is set to surpass $13.5 billion by 2026. So this comes from a DFC Intelligence, whatever that is, released its cloud gaming and interactive streaming analysis and forecasts for the years between 2021 and 2026, and it's going to grow exponentially. At the moment, this year's cloud gaming market, for comparison, is 1.23 billion. So, which is no small number by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a decent whack of money, that.
But yeah, it explains that existing gamers that own high-end PCs and consoles naturally generate a lot already. 10 billion for just PC and console for the forecast. However, the bulk of the revenue comes from subscription services and products that are not tied down. But I think the impressive thing is cloud gaming is not about distribution of traditional high-end games, but instead the opportunity to create new forms of monetizable games and interactive entertainment that can only exist using cloud delivery.
Well, the interesting thing there is, if 10 billion of that 13.5 billion is coming from existing gamers, that shows that the people in the industry are predicting that most gamers will a significant number of gamers will shift over to cloud gaming stuff, which actually is not that surprising. You look what Xbox is doing, GeForce Now is taking off, Stadia's still around, and we need to see more from Stadia, honestly. Luna's hanging around in the background. PlayStation Now is still a thing and does seem to be improving its service quietly.
Samsung Cloud are getting involved with it. Tencent are making moves and stuff, and it genuinely
AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T doing trial and stuff with.
You got the white label stuff.
Yeah, you got Arcade. And it goes to show, like, when we started this show, like, I'll be honest, we're very traditional gamers. Like, I prefer things to buy physically. I like my consoles. I buy my consoles. I didn't have a PC until we started content creation. And Stadia introduced me to that as this prospect of playing on the go when I'm away with work. I can play in hotels. I can do whatever. I can play FIFA on the toilet, that kind of stuff. That's a real thing, and then
dreams come true. Dreams have come true.
And then with like the likes of the Razer Kishi, like if you went back and told 10-year-old Chris, like, you can play all these AAA titles anywhere and everywhere, the back of the car, when you're out shopping with your parents and you just don't want to be there, when you go around your friend's house, you don't need to box. Like, we've all done it. You box up your PlayStation in your bag and you walk around your friends and your parents go, "What's in the bag?" No, you're not taking that out of the house. That's like a £200 box that stays here. All those scenarios, you get home.
Well, now it's like, have you got your £500 smartphone on you?
It's already on you because kids have phones now. But that's us when we were kids. We've said it time and time again. But the generation now, they're not the target. It's the people, the children who are like 9, 10-year-old right now, who they see games on their phone. They grew up on mobile devices, and you can play Stadia games, Cyberpunk, FIFA, Resident Evil on these devices. You don't need mum and dad to treat you to a £400-500 box for Christmas or your birthday. You've already got, like Richie said, you've already got that expensive device in your hand. All you need is a controller or a keyshot or a little accessory or an old PlayStation 3 controller, and you're good to go.
You know what this is, this phone business? This is the current generation of kids' Game Boy.
Yeah.
I remember the Game Boy was probably the first console I had where I really properly got into a game, and that was like with like I can't really remember the name of the game now.
Well, I played
there
Pokemon.
Was one of the Zeldas. I can't remember.
Wind Waker?
Pokemon. There was, no, on the Game Boy.
I don't know. I'm just naming Zelda games.
Oh, Link's Awakening, and Pokemon. They were like my gateway drugs to gaming, and the Mario Land 6 gold coins.
Yeah.
I played other games before, but they were the kind of Pokemon especially. That was like kind of when I like, this is good. Yeah, this is really good.
And where did we play them? You played them in the garden with your friends with a link cable. You sat in the back of the car trying to get the street lights just to get a bit of light on the screen. You took it everywhere, and you took bags of disposable batteries as well. With you everywhere, just because, in case until the charge packs came out.
I think I've told it before, but for any of our new listeners, my auntie used to have a caravan in the south of France, and we used to drive there from the north of England. You're looking maybe about a 20-hour drive as a kid sat in the back of the car. This is why I love Pokemon, because it just ate the time. Yeah. But you'd have the little magnifying glass with the light on it, so you could see when you did.
Had that too. Trying to quickly grind your Pokemon on your side in bed before you got.
I loved when the Game Boy Color came out because it gave me an excuse to ask for a second Game Boy so I could trade with myself. Yeah.
I've still got both of mine.
I've got a brother and sister, but they weren't as into it as me. So
it's so interesting, and you're completely right. Yeah, the mobile phone. If you look at any kids out there now, when you're out shopping and stuff, they're sat in the pram, they're sat on the side, they're on the phone, they're probably playing some daft swipey run game or Tetris knockoff or something like that.
Something where you have to drop £5 every hour to keep playing.
Candy Crush kind of stuff. But again,
that sort of stuff I think can put people off gaming as an industry.
But it's the entry into gaming, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing where then clicking a link on a YouTube video is all of a sudden easier. And then, as you grow and you evolve and your friends do different things and you play stuff, that's how it gets it. It comes in waves. And like cloud gaming, we've said Stadia's 2-year-old as of this week. And most of their audience, they don't even know it exists yet. But in 6 years' time, when Stadia's 8 years old, and they've got even more games, and the Pro Library's 200 strong, and all the newer titles, all the indie ones and stuff, it's going to happen. They just need to commit to the long game, and I think they are.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I've said, especially with Direct Touch seemingly being growing and Stadia, having Stadia preloaded on Android devices, it just makes sense. Yeah. It should be deletable, but I believe that all apps should be deletable. I don't like these. You don't want to be an Apple about it where you have to, all the Apple apps are installed and you can't get rid of them, so they just you get stuff that's taking up space on your phone that you have no interest in using. But it can be there when you load up. It's got like YouTube, it'll have like Chrome, it'll have on any Android device, Stadia, Google Play, all the full Google suite pre-installed, the Google Sheets, Google Docs, all that just there. Stadia should just be one of them.
One day.
And then you'll get some people click it. Free trial, give that a go. I'm playing FIFA. I'm playing Doom. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption.
Indeed. And then
I can play on my TV as well.
Oh, what's that link? Is that a link for a podcast? Sounds of Stadia Podcast.
What's this Explore tab? All the best Stadia podcasts.
Hey, one day. Not today, however, folks, but that brings us to an end for episode 113 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Thank you very much for your time today. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you are kept in the loop with everything we do here at Helix Cloud Games. Don't forget to leave us a review if you're watching and listening on podcast services or on YouTube. Leave us a comment below to say hello, because we speak to you a lot, but we don't hear back from you as much. So we'd love to hear more. Don't forget, if you do want to chat a little bit more with ourselves, fellow Stadia gamers, hit us up on Discord. The link is in the description on the YouTube video. We have loads of chatter over there, Richie, about games. People share screenshots. They arrange matches. And just general chit-chat about life. We've all got busy lives going on. We don't always talk about games. It's just a safe place to talk to like-minded people. Remember to follow us over on Twitter as well. I am at CyberChris2077. Richie is...
I'm at RichieC89.
And Tom is at Adaxis LP. And you can find all of your news out at Helix Cloud Games on Twitter as well. We also have a Facebook page if you fancy it. If you're one of those old school Facebookers, you can find us over there. Or is it Meta now? The parent company.
We don't acknowledge that. Let's just not acknowledge that.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great week of Stadia news. Happy birthday once again to Google Stadia. Don't forget, folks, to get out there and enjoy your birthday bagels. I brought it back for the podcast, Richie. Right at the end.
He brought it back.
And remember, play wherever makes you the happiest. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
Sounds of Stadia. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.